It is 9:08 now on this Wednesday morning, and you're watching Breakfast Television. Well, no matter where you live, transit is always a hot topic, and here in Metro Vancouver, of course, TransLink is the company that oversees much of our public transit, and there's an upcoming SkyTrain Unconference that's going to be taking place here in the Lower Mainland that we would like to tell you about. And joining us this morning is the community liaison for this SkyTrain Unconference, Quinn Fung. Welcome to BT.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I've heard of a conference. What is an unconference?
So the idea behind an unconference is that instead of having a conference where the organizers decide who should speak and what you're supposed to learn and what you should get out of it, an unconference is really focusing on the people that are in the room at the time and saying that everybody in the room has some kind of expertise, something that they know that somebody else in the room is interested in. So instead of trying to say, here's what you have to learn, we're trying to encourage people to have the conversation so that they can learn from each other.
Now, this one you're organizing, the SkyTrain Unconference, what is this all about?
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to engage people in the community with each other about the topic of security on SkyTrain, but we're not looking at security only as, say, certain issues about the stations or the trains, although those are certainly very important, but we're also trying to take a very holistic view in terms of what can we do as community members to improve our sense of security, not just looking at TransLink and saying that they need to spend more money on this, that, and the other thing to make us feel safe, especially since when we're talking about crime, it may happen on the station or on the train, but if we do something at the stations that moves it a block or two down, does that really matter if you have to walk through that 1 or 2 blocks in order to get home? It makes much more sense to talk about what the root of the problem is and try and get to that.
So this isn't really about, say, attacking TransLink for certain issues that have happened in the past. This is really about working together as a community and finding solutions as to how to improve public transit in Vancouver.
Definitely, especially since security is one of those topics that it really cuts to the core of what people really care about, and it's time to start to move away from the anger to get to a place where we can have constructive and collaborative conversations about what we can actually do to solve a problem and not make sort of knee-jerk reactions and argue over each other's heads about whose fault it is. How
did TransLink become involved in this unconference?
So I helped organize a event last year in December called Transit Camp. I remembered that and using the unconference format and thought, well, we want to do something around security and we want to do it something a little different from their typical open house. And so they kind of brought me on board and to help them not only look at the unconference, but also engaging people online and starting those conversations and also talking to the people who have been talking online about this for a long time, very knowledgeably and with a lot of research and information and opinions from the community.
So what kind of issues are you going to be discussing at this conference? What are hot on the minds of transit users in Vancouver these days?
I think it will certainly depend on the day, but certainly online there have been a lot of talks about, a lot of talk in the media about putting turnstiles in stations and whether or not that's really a good idea. A lot of people online are also concerned about their ability to participate in community life through things like taking pictures on transit and also just how to make the stations livelier places and hubs for our communities.
Now, is there order to this? I mean, you said that there's no real. It's more of a community-based meeting with people from the audience getting to have more participation. What kind of mediation are you going to be having, or is this more like a free-for-all?
But there is going to be some facilitation where what happens at the very beginning of the event is that people get a chance to address the entire audience, so to speak, everybody who's attending, and say what it is they're passionate about, what skills they bring to the table, what experiences they've had, what concerns that they feel the most. And by doing so, they get to gather with other people who are concerned about the same things and hopefully have very meaningful conversations and actually start to work towards what we can do, actions we can take, actions we can ask SkyTrain or Transit to take.
You've been doing this online, and it's been very popular online. Are you hoping that it's a different medium, I guess, having an in-person discussion? How are you hoping the two of them will work together here?
Well, I don't see that much of a difference in some ways, because when you're taking transit, a lot of times something will happen and you'll decide to start up a conversation with someone someone sitting next to you about it anyway. So the idea is to take the conversation that you'd had on the bus, put it online, have it with people who may not be on the same bus as you, and then take it back and bring all the people from all parts of the system into the same room to talk about those same problems.
So the conference, or the unconference, I should say, is taking place October the 4th, but you're still looking for a location.
Yes, we're thinking of having it in Surrey, but right now it's just still a little bit up in the air. And the idea too is really to bring positive energy to it and not get mired in this idea that we're just riders and that we can't do anything with TransLink.
And just very quickly, what do you hope comes out of all of this?
I think the one thing we're hoping to get out of it is that everybody is engaged, everybody feels like what comes out of the unconference is something that they had a say in.
All right, Karen, thanks a lot for coming in this morning. Again, the conference is scheduled for October the 4th, location still to be announced, but you can visit our website, citytv.com/BT Vancouver. We'll post a link up to your